On this episode of Plastic Surgery Uncensored, we are going to talk to one of Dr. Raban's patients, Rosie, who has made an incredible, and I don't use that word every day, transformation from, I don't even know what she was like before at 320, but she is probably the hottest grandma I've ever met. Please listen to Plastic Surgery Uncensored. So, Plastic Surgery Uncensored, Dr. Raban, we always, talk about this, that. This is truly a journey. We use the word journey, but this is from 320 pounds. I'm sitting next to she's a grandma.
A hot grandma.
A hot grandma. And I want to hear about it. I'm like, as the listener, I want to hear from the beginning. Like, first of all, let's start at 300. Can we do that?
So I think first of all, we're very blessed to have you here, Rosie. Thank you for coming and traveling as far as you have. And I think as we say in every segment, the purpose of the segment or the episode is to inspire and educate. So through your courage and willingness to share your story, the goal is that somebody listening is going to go, wow, something she said is relevant or inspiring or educational. So what is the purpose of today's segment? I think obesity and being overweight now is above 50% of Americans. Okay, so there's super obese, there's morbidly obese, there's obese, etc. And what ends up happening is that for one reason or another, an individual finds themselves 250, 300, 350, 400 pounds. And so we want to discuss today how one gets there, because I think it's important to discuss that, because just like anything else, if in order for you to get out of something, you got to know how you got into it. Secondly, we want to talk about what it takes once you're there. Once you get to 320 pounds, what is the will it takes for you to come down the mountain?
Wow.
Then we want to talk about the second half of the journey, because for a lot of people, they're not prepared. They say, okay, listen, I got it. I got to lose this weight. Once I lose the weight, I'm going to be good. And the truth of the matter is that once you lose the weight, you're halfway home. And the other half of it is now you have all this extra skin that you need to find the finances for, find the time for, find the courage to get rid of. And we're going to talk about that entire journey, because you did undergo this entire journey. And yes, you look amazing, but this was not one of these things that you do. You go in on the weekend and you come out, right? This is a lifelong journey that you've had to undergo. So thank you for coming. Let's dive in. So tell me a little bit your story and how you found yourself to 320.
Okay, well, I have always struggled with my weight. As a younger person, in my 20s, you get thin and then you start eating and you're happy and you're in a relationship and you start to eat more and you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Well, then again, the position that I was working in, being with law enforcement, being a 911 dispatcher, you're not moving around. You're not, you're basically sitting at a desk for 10 hours a day and you're eating, you're not getting any exercise. You're working different hours, either early morning or late at night. You're working at different hours. So just not being active and sitting at a desk that weight can creep up on you.
And it's a stressful job, isn't it?
It is very.
911 dispatcher isn't like, I work at an insurance company. Like that's.
It's a very stressful job.
So did you find that the weight would just incrementally every year 20 pounds, or was it like you were fine, and some event happened that like I think everybody, there's no human being, well, that's not true. My wife's one of them, who doesn't struggle with weight. Even I get on the scale every morning. And when I'm up 4 pounds, because I'm I freak out.
Yeah.
I mean, I go into like, oh my God, only salads or whatever. So how does what happened? At what point did you go up?
I think that, when you're struggling, you lose yourself. I would say, you're happy, you're married, you have kids, even kids, puts on the weight on you.
Of course, after children.
After childbirth, you have that extra weight and you're always thinking, okay, I'm going to lose that 10, 15 pounds.
And your husband never looked at you and said, mija, put down the enchiladas? Like that never I mean, I don't want to be mean, but in the Latino culture.
I wouldn't say that, because I know my husband loved me either skinny or heavy. He says.
Question for you here.
This is lucky you.
This is a really interesting concept, because I think it's important. Is it the responsibility, or is it appropriate, or should a loved one get involved and say, honey, you to him to you, I think you're gaining weight and I don't think it's right for you. Or should he love you, or should you love them the way they are and let them be? And let me preface this for a second, because there's this whole notion now, especially in this world we live in today, which is everyone is okay. Don't discipline anyone. Don't make anyone feel bad. You know what I mean? Everyone's a winner. And the reality is, I don't know, I think it's personality driven, but I mean, there are sensitive ways to say it, of course. You wouldn't be like, oh, wow, but I would hope that if I were starting to smoke or drink or eat, because it's an ailment, that my loved one would step in and as gently but as forcefully they would prevent me. So I'm curious, do
Look
you
at her
wish,
laughing, because this is going to be good.
Well,
do you
I'm
wish that
laughing.
your husband said to you, honey, do you think that you would have been better?
I think that, he loves me, and he'd love me either skinny or heavy. But I think I was comfortable, and he was comfortable whether I was.
How is he? Is he a chunkster?
No, my husband is very active. He's thin. He runs like.
So you don't kind of internally wish that he was more critical of you, to help, to have not to like, I don't know how to say this, but like if he would have came to you one at some point and said, honey, I love you. I love you.
320, that's an enabler.
No, but I love you either way. But I think your weight is unhealthy for you.
I think that he was waiting for me to see myself and see how I was feeling. And I know that he noticed that little, depression or some clothes or a dress that I would see and not wish, that maybe I would be able to get into that dress.
What was your intimate life like? Were you guys still doing it when you were at 320?
Yes.
Wow.
I said my husband loves me.
Oh man, can we clone him?
So that's awesome, and that is a rare situation.
That's
where
a unicorn
I'll
man
tell
right
you why,
there.
because
I
that
want to
tells
picture this guy.
and that's beautiful, because that tells you when someone says "I love you" either way, it's not to say it, but it's to live it. And if you really love someone, then you don't change the way you love them. You love them as if they were anyway.
Actions
so,
speak loud.
So that's fantastic.
I'm going to tell you what made him step in and say something to me. And, I was never a diabetic. I wasn't diabetic, which runs in my family. I didn't have high blood pressure. My cholesterol was perfect.
And you do know, for listeners, that that's an anomaly, right?
Yes. Unicorn.
Anyone in 300 pounds has diabetes. Anyone who's 300 pounds has blood pressure, and anyone has cholesterol issues. Just so you know.
So we have two married unicorns.
So, at this point, I had sleep apnea, and that scared him.
Because you would wake up middle of the night. So for sleep apnea is when you wake up and you stop breathing in the middle of the night, and you do that.
That's caused by weight.
It's caused by a lot of things, but weight is one of them, because it puts weight in your neck. It makes your tongue heavy, and it causes you the inability to breathe.
Everybody
at night.
I know in my family, we have a lot of chunksters that we call it the pig mask, because I have a
it's
bunch of
it's
Dias.
CPAP. Yeah,
I have a
CPAP.
bunch of Dias that have to travel with the pig mask.
Yeah, it's a CPAP machine.
Yeah.
So then, what was the breaking point for you?
That was it.
He came
when
to you and he said,
came to me and said, I don't sleep at night.
Because he was worried that you would stop breathing. And he was that concerned. That's really beautiful. That's touching. I was blown away that he was going to have sex with her at 320. But the fact that he would stay up all
he went
night.
from a unicorn to being a pink unicorn.
Oh my God.
Got it, unicorn.
Oh my God.
And that underscores an issue, which is it tells you
beautiful.
that you did it for him, even in an odd way. In other words, that's why I was kind of saying that, because a lot of times people get into a cycle where they're sad and depressed, and they won't do it for themselves, but you'll do it for your daughter. You'll do it for your husband. You'll do it for a loved one. And I think the interpersonal connection is so crucial, that we be there to champion each other, because your husband came to you and he said, I'm worried about you.
Worried.
And you went and snapped. You're like, I don't want him to worry about me, and I'm going to do something about it. So, I think that's just so beautiful. That's why people who don't have anyone in their lives end up committing suicide. End up getting on drugs.
I can't even get a dude to take me to Pinkberry. And you're having somebody who stays up all night to make sure you keep breathing?
Yeah.
You must be really nice, too.
So when I saw that I was taking his sleep from
peace.
his peace, I said, okay, I have to do something.
So that's so what was the first step you took? So, because I think this is really important for people to hear, because we talk about it. You're not the first of these beautiful stories, but what everyone wants to know is, okay, so I'm here, I'm listening, I'm 280. What do I do tomorrow? Because once you have inertia, I'm working out, I'm eating well, but like, what do I do tomorrow? What's the first real step?
You really have to dig deep in yourself. Mentally, you have to be ready, prepared, focus. You have to make decisions like, do you want to be here? Do you want to be here for your kids?
So did you start on a diet day one? You made the decision.
I made the decision
You made
first.
that's the hard part.
Okay, so you made the decision, which I think is beautiful because it shows one point, which is we all need each other because we're actually the ones who change people's lives. People don't stop drugs for themselves. They don't stop smoking for themselves. They do it for the person who's in it for them. So you did that, and then you hyper focused. And was the first step your diet? Was the first step?
The first step was me losing 30 pounds.
How did you do it?
Just
What did you do specifically?
calories. We're only eating like 1,000 calories a day.
Did someone meal prep for you?
No,
Did
I
you
did
meal
it
prep
myself.
for yourself?
So
Okay,
you
great.
researched and learned
I
about
researched,
food.
I learned. I told my husband, okay, this is it. No ice cream. Let's get rid of the stuff that I shouldn't be eating that's making me gain weight. And
Okay, so what you're saying is there is no magic. It's exactly what's
no.
been said from day one. Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, blah, 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 they're all the same, which is if you consume more bad calories than you use, you will gain weight. If you consume more calories than you eat, you will lose weight. So old fashioned, watch what you eat, and you lost 30 pounds. Yes. So that got the ball rolling.
that got the ball rolling.
So you started to see in the mirror, shedding off some weight, still overweight, but you can start to see, I always tell, if you go to the gym and work out, if you don't see any muscles, you'll stop working out.
Right.
So you started to see some fruits of your harvest.
Oh,
Then what?
Definitely. I was happy about that. And then I told my husband, well, let me go to the doctor and find out what's going on with the breathing, find out what I can do now, because I have to be here for my grandkids. I have to be here for you. And I have to be here for myself. This is something that is going to help me gain confidence, set goals, be here, make a life change for myself.
Great. But you can see that there's a transformation there.
Definitely.
At the beginning, you did it for him.
At the beginning,
Once you
I did
start
it
to
for
see
him.
some light, you do it for yourself.
Yes.
That is exactly why you can't fight the fight alone. Someone needs to help you to the water. You will drink it, but that's why I'm a big fan of this idea that you gotta step up for the people you love. This
100%.
idea that I'm gonna let them crash and figure it out ain't gonna work. You gotta help them and keep trying until they finally it registers. Because yes, eventually you gotta quit because you want to quit. Yeah, you gotta quit because you want to quit, but you gotta keep hammering them to want to quit.
Yeah. It's a buddy system.
So you went to the doctor, and what
I went to
happened?
the doctor, and the doctor says, well, you know what? Your IBM is really high, and I can do a gastric bypass on you. You qualify. You're that person that I could take in and do this surgery because you're healthy still. Most people that have the gastric bypass are already at a level where they do have their diabetic. Their already blood pressure's going down.
What does IBM stand for?
It's actually BMI, which is right. It's
BMI,
body mass
I'm
index. Sorry. Yeah, I know, of course. And it just means that
Right, I know what that is.
Your height to your weight.
Right.
There's a certain point where that's one of the parameters that we use to say that you are overweight or super overweight or whatever, which is an index. That's what it is.
Okay.
So after that, and I said, okay, sign me up. I'm ready. You do have to go and talk to a doctor to have that mind.
Right.
So you go to a psychologist?
A psychologist.
Right.
And
So you should, most bariatric surgeons, for there to be success, they make you see a psychologist because the idea is we do the surgery and you eat through it. Yeah. You can eat through it. In other words, you can do a lap band. You can do a gastric bypass. Today, we don't do those anymore. We do what's called a gastric sleeve, but it doesn't really matter. The bottom line is we do it and you just your depression hasn't been addressed. You don't even know how to keep calories. You go in your house and there's a bunch of Twinkies. 6 months later, you're back at 300 pounds. The surgery is not going to work unless you're at least willing to give it a chance. So that's the right way to do it. So you did that and you did the surgery and boom, started losing weight.
I started losing weight.
So you went from 320 to what was your nadir?
130.
Wow. So let's do the math.
I went from a size
190 pounds.
That's a big person.
Yeah.
So you lost 190 pounds.
That's a grown
Over
man.
what period of
I
time?
went, well, I want to say like 7 months.
This is incredible, right?
8 months.
That's incredible. So you lost the weight, and here it is just shedding off, boom, month after month.
So happy. I was so happy. I started walking. I started exercising. I looked in clothes. I looked great. I felt good. I was motivated. I was overjoyed. But then.
So then
But then.
So this is what I want people to understand, because when you are overweight, there's if for you to get to the place where you are truly happy, true happiness, there's a 2-step process.
Okay.
Losing the weight and losing the skin. So what did you notice at 130 pounds?
I had excess skin.
Where?
All over.
Where's all over?
My
Tell me.
legs.
Where part of your
And
legs?
how did it look? Did it just hang down?
My thighs. It looked like I had.
Did it look like bad corduroy? I mean, how does it look?
If you think of your sagging skin on your legs, it's horrible.
So let's go through it because it's important. It's very important. You had loose skin where? Legs. Your inner thighs.
My inner thighs were the worst.
Okay, next.
The stomach.
Your stomach. Got it.
My arms were horrible. It looked like I had wings. Like
right, so they refer to them the bat wings. Okay, the arms. What else?
My butt.
So what happens to the butt?
Where'd it go?
Goes, yeah, it flaps. It does. It just gravity.
So what happens is a butt, like a breast, is a structure that is, its beauty is linked to volume and fat and fullness. So as you lose 190 pounds, you will also lose the beautiful breast volume and buttock volume that makes it youthful. So breasts and butts sag. They get deflated and sag. And that's what you experience, correct?
Exactly. And my boobs too.
Yeah.
You know, I used to have full, I want to say a D cup. And then I went down to maybe a C cup, but they weren't full no more.
Yeah, and they change shape.
Did you like roll them up like a toothpaste tube? I mean, how does that?
They change shape.
Because if they're that deflated.
Right. So then this is important. So you got there and you notice, okay, wow. So did you have a moment where you were like, you were happy, but not what was the emotional state? Like you're standing in front of the mirror, you lost 190 pounds, which is unbelievable.
Incredible.
And then you're looking in front of the mirror, and how do you feel with all this skin?
Well, you know, you work so hard and you're thinking, wow, you know, I can get into this size, 4 pair of jeans, but you still have to put on your bodysuit. You have to put layers of clothes so that your skin is not, showing through your clothes and you're basically tucking in the skin. But then you look at yourself in the mirror and it's like, I don't want to say I got depressed, but I did. I did get depressed.
No, but you have to say that because it's the truth. Because if you have to say how you felt.
I didn't want no one. I didn't even want my husband.
So it's interesting. So here, this is very important because I've noticed this. At 320, you guys were intimate.
Yes.
But at 130, you didn't feel attractive.
No.
So isn't that fascinating?
It is.
Because this is yet another reason why people don't lose the weight. Because when you're full, at least you're tight. And when you are thin, you look good to everyone else. But in intimacy, which is to yourself and to your loved one, because that's the only two people that are going to be involved, you look worse. And so what prevents you, because everyone else is going like, I don't know why you don't lose weight. I mean, you look so good. And you're thinking to yourself, if only you knew.
Now, is the stuff hot too? I imagine if you're in Vegas wearing undergarments, that can't be good.
Well, I was still working here in LA, and I worked at a job where I had to change into a uniform.
Yeah.
And in a locker room with other women.
So important to talk about.
So it was hard for me to be taking off my clothes and have other people looking at me like.
Which you did comfortably at 300.
Yes.
See, so this is so this is interesting because it's in a fascinating conversation about it. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about the surgeries that we did together, what they were, how the impact was, what you can tell about like your recovery or things you wish you had done differently. But I think we touched on such a crucial, interesting concept about weight loss and how if you're listening and you're like, wow, I'm overweight and I want to lose weight, you have to understand that it's not just losing weight.
No.
You have to prepare mentally, financially, and time-wise for the weight loss plus all the surgeries related, because very few people lose 100 or more pounds and are just perfectly fine with the weight loss. So when we come back, we'll talk about your surgeries and all that comes with them.
Great.
Please stay tuned to this episode of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. When we come back, there's a lot of surgery and skin getting gone.
So, Rosie, we're back. And because, again, this is a podcast, so people are listening. And you can't really, it's good, but you can't really feel the emotional aspect or the impact this conversation is having on you. And, you know, we're lucky and blessed to have you come and share, because I can talk all day long, no surprise. Monique can comment, but without you, there is really no message. And so you coming here and being vulnerable and earnest and transparent is incredibly helpful. Why? Because there's somebody out there that you're going to inspire. So we talked a bit about where you were, how you got there, and how you got down. So now we're going to talk about what it takes. I've lost the weight. I have bat wings, as you said. I have all the skin around my abdomen and trunk, inner thigh, leg, etc. What are we going to do about it? So what was the first surgery we did together?
Well, I think we were talking about doing my body lift.
Okay. So tell me what it was tell me your experience and what it was, and I'll chime in as we go.
Well, the body lift was, my big thing was the excess skin on my stomach, because having that skin just lay down on your legs and
it was that far, like your thighs?
Hot.
Yeah, it's hot. It causes rashes. It causes irritation.
Rash. You know, you're constantly making sure that you're dry under that. Correct,
because you get a lot of people get infections.
Yeah.
A lot of people get infections, skin infections.
So the foundation garment is not an option. I mean, you have to wear that.
You have to wear a bodysuit or, yes.
And you have a lot of people put baby powder and they have to wash several times a day because it's just a moist region.
Sweat,
so we wanted to do that. And were you aware of the body lift? You thought you were going to get a tummy tuck.
I thought I was going to get, and then we talked about the dog
the
dog
ears.
Right. Dog ears.
And I said, I can't go
What's
through
a dog
that.
ear?
I'd rather take everything off.
Okay, so this is the deal that's very important. So when you have 3 kids, and you go into the doctor, most likely you're going to need a tummy tuck. When you lost 20, 30 pounds, and you got some loose skin, most likely you need a tummy tuck.
Right.
When you've lost over 150 pounds, it's usually over 100 pounds, you have not just loose skin of your stomach, although obviously when you look in the mirror, you have loose skin of your thighs, your trunk, your buttock, your lower back, the whole shebang. So when you come in, if all I were to do is just a tummy tuck, which is just the front of your body, and ignore and leave the sides and the back of your trunk, that means where you wear a belt. Just imagine a belt.
Right.
All I'm doing is the front half of your belt. The side and the back of your belt, we leave alone. 2 things will happen. Number 1, it will look ridiculous because you'll have presumably a really nice looking abdomen and a crappy looking rest of you. And the areas we leave behind look worse than they ever did before because now there are this transition. The transition is called a dog ear. Literally, there's a lump of skin that creates where you go from tight to loose. So the treatment for those patients is a circumferential body lift or a belt lipectomy, AKA we cut all the way around exactly where a belt would be. And in doing so, we remove all the redundancy so that when we're done, all of that is gone. The reason we call it a body lift is, yes, the tummy tuck goes down, but your thighs and your butt go up. We're lifting your thigh and buttock.
Pulling up pants.
Yes.
Like pants, body lift. And so if you don't do the right surgery, and not very many people do this surgery, how long did it take?
10 hours.
10 hours.
10 hours.
10 hours. 10
What
hours.
do you do in those 10 hours?
I
Walk me
watch
through
a few
it.
movies.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I Google some things, a little bit of online
Lord of the
poker.
Rings.
Yeah. What do you mean what I do? We've had this conversation before.
Lord of the Rings, all 3 of
He
them.
worked really hard on me.
Yeah, let me tell you something. There's 2 ways. We've always had this dialogue. You can do it alone, or you can do it with a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. And you know my philosophy from day one. If I'm going to operate on Rosie, I'm going to operate on Rosie. What does that mean? That means I'm going to do the entire surgery, all the suturing, all the layers, all myself. So we have to turn her 3 times. front, side, and side. Every time we turn her, we have to re-prep her, re-drape her, and everything. And there are multiple layers of closing. And yes, this can be done probably in 5 hours, can be done in 4 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. On average, it's usually around 8 hours. In some instances, a little more, in some instances, less. But the reality is if either I do it or I tag team it. What does that mean? I call in a few buddies, the tech, the this, that, the other, and everyone's closing simultaneously. And that's actually the norm because nobody really wants to do these large cases on their own because, let's be honest, nobody cares.
And there's a lot of sewing.
She'll be, listen, the philosophy is she'll be happy with whatever. And if we remove the skin, she'll be stoked. Who cares if it's a little jaggedy or whatever? And maybe that's true, but that's not for me. So anyways, it took 10 hours and we removed it. Do you remember how many pounds we removed? Do you remember how much it was?
Oh, God. I remember seeing the big piece
of tissue.
Tissue.
Oh yeah.
You saw it? You saved it?
No. I took a photo of it. Come on. Yes. No, I gave it to her as a gift.
No, I was gonna say that'd be cool if you wake up and see
cool.
it.
Yeah, I can just see that.
Well, we did the markings. He does the markings with the
magic marker.
Measuring and all that.
Yeah.
I remove on average between 5 and 12 pounds. That's a significant amount of skin and fat. So we did that surgery, right? Yes. How was the recovery?
Great. I mean,
she said, great.
No.
Yeah, when their voice goes up like that, it's not always true.
No, I actually think it was very authentic.
It was.
Oh, okay.
She didn't even hesitate.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I did have the staples going around my whole body.
Not staples, please.
Or
sutures, stitches. Very clear. Let's back up. I never use staples. That's like, oh my God.
That's right.
Sutures. Individual hand-thrown stitches that need to be removed.
You have to remove them?
Yes.
Because that's the way to make the scar beautiful. It's a pain in the ass, but it works.
Wow.
So you can't see the scars on me. And, you know, it was, I'm not going to say yes, there was a little pain here and there, but it was well worth it. I see myself today and it was so well worth it.
Yeah, I mean, she looked amazing. I mean,
she looks amazing. I'm looking at her.
I know. So we did that surgery and you recovered. And was there any okay, looking back, because I just want to give people advices. So the body lift, anything in particular that you wish you would have done, you should have known, or if you're talking to your olds, what's your nugget pearl for body lift surgery?
You know, I've always been that person to say, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to go all the way and do it right. And that body lift, that was for me. I can't speak for other people as far as, you know, being under that long or having a surgery that long. But for me, that was the surgery for me.
You would do it again?
I would do it again. I had a fantastic doctor that's talented, mm-hmm. that is skilled. He's impeccable.
Don't leave out handsome. He gets offended
handsome,
when you don't say
handsome.
Podcast, nobody can tell him. He looks like Barney
handsome.
Rubble. It wouldn't matter at this point.
Yes, but, you know, he's amazing. And he touched my life. He's changed my life.
She's getting emotional again.
No, we love it that you're emotional. Because
I know.
Let me tell you something. The only reason I do this is so that I can have a connect. When was the last time I saw you?
2008, maybe.
I haven't seen her in over 11 years.
It's been that long?
You know why she's here? Just because we called her. You tell me how many other patient-doctor relationships you know of where I can call her on the phone. Hey, Rosie, hi, how are you? Oh, my God, hey, Dr. Bond. We're doing this podcast thing. Would you be kind enough? Would you be willing to come out here? She lives in Vegas, and boom, she's here, and she's emotional. Why? Because you can't undo that connection.
No,
you can't undo the fact that I spent hours on hours and hours on her so that, yes, I make a living. It's not just because it's a noble cause, but I don't have to bleed sweat over this. I can just do it. I do it because I love her as a person. She's a fantastic human being. And I love the fact that she's emotional because it just tells you that it was well worth the effort. In all regards, her effort, my effort, everyone, even her gastric surgeon who helped her lose the weight. So it's a beautiful journey. And what she said is, do the right thing. So many people need X surgery, but either from fear or finance or whatever, do Y surgery. Right. Listen carefully. If you need X surgery, do X surgery or don't do anything. I mean, I keep repeating that over and over. You need an anchor scar? Do an anchor scar. Don't come up with some cockamamie lollipop, blah, 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 because it's too expensive or it looks. Don't do it. Just don't do it. It isn't like, well, I want the super duper car. I can't afford it, so I'll take the model below. That's not this case.
Not with your body.
No.
So we did your body lift. What was the next surgery?
My legs, my
Well,
thighs.
can I ask in between? Sure. I'm the person that yeah. How much was it? How much is a bot? How much was it? Don't look at him.
Well, no.
No, because
how do you put a price on?
No, but
I want to know dollars.
I can tell you what it is today because it changes. So having a number is irrelevant.
11 years ago.
A body lift today, a body lift is going to cost you in a legit place.
What you did for her?
No, listen to me. I don't remember what I did for her. It was 11 years ago. What was my house today is worth double today what it was then. So that's irrelevant. What you want to know is today. What does it cost to do a body lift in a legit plastic surgeon's office, board certified anesthesiologist, Medicare certified center? It takes them 6 hours. They send you to a recovery center. It's going to cost you between $35,000 and $50,000. That one surgery. If a guy's doing it for $12,000, you're like, what a steal.
No, he's having elves sew you up.
No, there are no elves. There's no one in there. Okay, it's not happening. I'm sorry, it's not happening.
Got it.
So you have to be prepared. So that means I'm 300 pounds today, and I'm listening to this podcast. Just like you're planning for your kids' college, just like you plan for your mortgage, just like you plan for that vacation, just like you plan for the car you want, you plan for your damn surgery.
Right.
Or you go and you do some half-ass surgery, you get a necrosis, you get an infection, you get admitted to the hospital, you get a pulmonary embolus, and whatever you tried to save, you end up paying more in recovery, and you are miserable in the way you look.
Yeah, so listen up. There is no body lift on Groupon. There is no body lift on Groupon.
Okay, so we shift gears. So we went to your thighs.
So he went to my thighs, and you took more skin off.
Well, did the middle one help the legs a little?
Yes.
Okay.
So the body lift.
See, I had to ask.
So the body lift helps your outer thighs.
Yes.
Okay.
It lifts from the outside like a belt. But if you have tons of skin on the inside of your thigh, which is where you get it, you have to look inside your pants. Everyone who's wearing a pair of pants, look inside, and where do you see the inner seam? You see a seam in the middle of your pants? That's the seam we need to cut out of. So everyone's like, oh my God, I don't want that scar down the middle of my leg. Great, keep the skin. Wait, what do you mean? So I have to have the scar or I have to? Yes. Yeah. You either live with the skin, live with the rubbing and all that crap, or we cut down the middle of your thigh all the way down your knee if you have that much skin.
Did he do that?
Yes.
How far down?
Well, actually.
Show me. I mean, I'm not in a prurient. Oh, you can barely see it.
No scar. I mean,
it's nothing.
It's nothing. My legs look fantastic. My butt.
Well, you have nothing in your you have beautiful calves, and there's no.
I mean, she's got beautiful legs, but what would you have done without the skin removal?
Without the skin removal.
What are you going to do? You're going to, listen, it's a no-brainer.
It's okay.
The key is, again, I keep reiterating it. You got to do what you got to do.
You got to plan.
And you got to do a thigh lift. And so
I would never wear shorts ever again if I kept the skin.
So she's wearing a skirt today. You're wearing a beautiful skirt. You can see her knees. You would never.
Got great calves.
Thank you.
And I just looked at the insides of her legs. Pretty amazing.
So
everybody's afraid of the scar. Right. Don't be afraid of the scar.
Well, then live with the skin.
If the
scar is closed correctly,
right.
If you do this, you exchange a ton of loose skin for some horrific Frankenstein scar. I assure you, will not be any better. You will not feel like, oh my God, I feel super hot now. You need to exchange loose skin for a well-healed, beautifully closed scar. That's a very good trade. Terrible scar for loose skin, not a great trade. So what's your nugget or pearl about your thigh? Was there anything that stood out for you in terms of recovery or pain or anything like that?
No, I think that it healed pretty quick. I think my body and I healed fast for myself. I don't know.
Pain?
Pain-wise, yes, there was pain.
For how long roughly?
Did it hurt more than the other one?
Yes.
I could tell by the way.
Why?
Tell me why.
Because you have to get up. You have to go to the restroom. You have to, lift. You got to
move. You got to use your legs.
Move to use your legs.
Oh.
And when you lose your cut and you have this part that's still, sutured and tendered, and you have to push yourself up. You use your arms more than
so here you go is another point. So pay attention. If you are having a body contouring surgery, many, many times doctors want to tag team all of this area. 99.9% of patients show up and they want to know what's the fastest way from point A to B. I have all this goddamn skin. I want it gone. Let's do it all. So then I say, okay, I'll do your body lift only. Well, what about my arms? What about my breasts? Another time. No. What do you mean? I went to this other doctor. He said he'll do the body lift and my arms and my legs in one sitting. Oh, did he? Oh, he did. He's going to do your body lift, your arms, and your legs in one sitting. And who all is going to be there?
I was going to say, and what army?
It's a pit crew. So I do them one at a time. And so you do your body lift. Boom, it's done amazing. Then we get to her thighs. Why didn't I do her arms and her thighs simultaneously? Did I do your arms and your thighs simultaneously?
No.
Why not? Because she just said...
I need my arms to lift myself.
She said, I got to get out of bed. I'm pushing on my arms. So the reason you don't do it is because you care about the outcome. So if she is in bed, lying, convalescing, trying to let her thighs heal well, and she's had her arms done and she's pushing with her arms to get out, do you think that's going to heal well?
No, that's going to hurt.
No. So there you have it. So again, do the right surgery. Is it inconvenient? Yeah, it's inconvenient.
Yeah.
You have to take time off work, and blah, 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 la, la, la. My mom's coming in from Mexico, blah, blah, blah. Help me.
How far apart did you do them?
I don't know. What was it?
A couple of months.
Months.
Yeah, as long as until you heal.
As long as I was healed
Pretty
and I
close
was ready
together.
to go, yeah.
Remember our last patient? She did the surgery that 6 weeks apart.
Yeah.
So when you're healed and you're healed, we just
All right.
and then
We went to my arms.
the big topic. This is super relevant because who was it recently talked about their arms? Was it a Michelle Obama? Somebody was talking about
She's got great arms.
No, does she have great arms? I thought she was talking about her arms were. Someone was talking. Some celebrity was. So arms are a big top. You know, there's a buzzword on arms now. So tell me about your arms and what that all involved.
My arms are. Look at my arms. I'm tan. Great. I know you can't see me, but I'm tan. I wear a bikini.
You wear a bikini.
Grandma,
I've never worn
a bikini. Did you hear what I'm talking about?
I heard bikini.
320
yes.
bikini. Come put that in your mind.
I wouldn't wear, when I was heavier, I wouldn't wear short sleeves, tank top. Now I'm tank
she's
top.
got the girls out.
Yes.
For those
arms
of you who can't
are
see
showing.
her, sexy dress.
It healed fantastic. I don't have scars. I love my arms.
So would you say, okay, so, and your arms were in many ways similar to your legs. How long did your legs take? Do you remember?
No, I want to say maybe 3 months.
No, how long does surgery take?
Oh, the surgery? I don't know.
I think it takes about 5 hours. Legs, we have to put you in stirrups. It's a lot of sewing. And your arms?
My arms.
About 4 hours.
4 hours.
So you can start to understand the amount of sewing relative to how long it takes if your doctor is doing it himself, if he's closing it well.
And you have to stay under for that amount of time.
Let me tell you about the anesthesia. So everyone's going, oh my God. If you are healthy, listen carefully. If you are healthy, you can be under anesthesia for 4 weeks, constantly. There is no anesthetic. The anesthetic risk does increase. Yes, it increases every hour. But the increase in anesthetic is so minor when you are healthy.
Right.
You come into my office, you're a diabetic, you had a recent heart attack, and your blood pressure is 200/10, and you want to have surgery. The answer isn't, I can only tolerate an hour. The answer is no surgery.
Absolutely.
So you're either healthy, and you can have whatever you need to be done, or you're not healthy and you shouldn't have it done. But this idea that I can do it, so this is what the doctor is going to tell you. I'm going to do it quickly so you're not under anesthesia a very long time. You see how that is twisted? You're buying into the fact that the reason why there's 6 guys there and it looks all crappy and they did it in 3 hours is for your good. Oh, you don't want to be under anesthesia that long. It's dangerous. And everyone buys into that. So you want to look great. You want to be the beneficiary for years to come. So it sounds like of all of the areas you did, it sounds like your arms may have been your most favorite.
Oh, definitely.
And why is that?
Because I can wear everything I always wanted to wear. Tank tops, bikini, showing my arms and being able to lift them up without that skin hanging.
Oh, they look great.
And yes, thank you so much.
And that's actually a common thing. So let's talk about the arms. So where are the scars? So we talked about the scars in the thigh. It's up and down. You can do it across in the groin, which is called a mini thigh lift. It's ridiculous. It doesn't work. It's rinky-dink. It doesn't do anything. Only in very limited cases. In real cases, you need to go up and down, okay? In the arms, there's an equivalent. There's a mini one, which is just in the armpit, which again does nothing, or a traditional brachioplasty or arm lift is along from armpit to somewhere near the elbow.
It's barely visible.
So if it's, again, done well, it heals well. But again, it has to be done correct. So we remove all that loose skin.
That's great.
And so most patients are super petrified of having a hideous scar on their arm. So they live with these bat wings, wear these long sleeve shirts, and just are stuck not wearing any clothes. And she lives in Nevada, for God's sake. Vegas, it's 110 degrees. She's tanner than, I mean, you can't be this tan unless you're outside all the time in tank tops.
She's in a tank top for sure. And I just saw the scars are quite thin. And now I'm going to be crass again. Yeah. So now that you're at whatever you weigh with the girls out in that beautiful dress, well, your husband must just chase you around the house. Oh, Does he just chase you around the house?
He's always chased me.
Yeah, that's what I like.
But he looks at me and I could see his look, the way he looks at me. And it's just like, I'm on his arm. I'm his woman, basically. And
he got a new wife.
Yes.
And I think that is so incredibly powerful, beautiful, and honest. There's this idea, and I'm all about the Me Too movement, and I couldn't come at a better time. And I think empowerment of women is crucial. But I just want to make sure that the pendulum doesn't swing too far, where women are afraid to continue to want to look beautiful and feminine and sexy.
Alluring.
And desirable for their male counterparts, because emancipation, independence, and strength, all wonderful, but it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. And the fact that there is a woman who did all those things and still feels gorgeous, but her husband desires her, I think is so wonderful. So we really appreciate you coming and sharing your journey in regards to your, where you began, where you went, and where you ended up. And I'm just so lucky to I just be a small part of your journey. And
Sounds
thank
like
you for
coming.
A
big part. 10 hours
He's not
of
a
sewing.
Small part. Yes, he's
well, that was
changed
just the body lift part.
I'm basically his
poster child.
His poster. He's transformed me into this butterfly.
Beautiful.
I feel.
Listen, if I'm going to do all this work, I want it to be done for someone who takes joy in it and pays it forward and takes it and makes it even bigger. It's nothing more than just some flesh, but she's brought it to life. So it's really, really wonderful. And thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
I'm on team hot grandma. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. Please come back and listen to us some more. We're always going to talk about him.
Download.
Tell them.